What's up, everyone? How's it going, guys? Cool, cool, cool. Just getting everything set up. Hello, 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 Tina. Good to see you again. Good to see some familiar faces in here.
Yo, y'all can hear me? Just tuned in my Bluetooth headphones real quick. Can you make me a host or no, bro?
All right, I got you.
I might need to share screen and stuff like that. Let me see. Oh, nice. Thank you, bro.
Mm-hmm.
All right, should we jump into it, bro, or should we like give a couple of minutes? I don't know if they're ready for this.
I don't know. Is everyone ready though? I think
Oh
everyone.
no.
What about me, Tina? What about me? Just kidding. It's all good, Tina. No love over here.
They said they're ready. Yeah, no, we appreciate you guys jumping on. This is kind of like one of the first um theories in the supplement build out. So this class is going to be like super applicable to all walks or all pathways, whether you're like drop shipping supplements, POD supplements, or even like an affiliate for supplements as well. I think the first thing that we wanted to do for you guys was to give you guys a foundation of the model that you guys are getting into, and also just learn from people who are actively running a subscription supplement brand right now as we speak. And so we've kind of put together just a couple of resources to help you guys understand the journey that you guys are about to embark, and then kind of leave you guys off with like the first action items to get the ball rolling. Because in this day and age of e-commerce, especially in 2026, I think Tommy and I just really think that if you're not running a form of subscriptions in your business, it doesn't even have to be supplement, but just adding any type of MRR or monthly recurring revenue, then you're kind of losing a lot of money and you're not creating predictable growth for your business. And so, with that being said, I'm just going to quickly share my screen, and then you guys can let me know if you guys see the visual here. The title is called. I got to move you guys around real quick. Title is called the 2026 Ecom Blueprint: How to Build and Scale a Subscription Brand. This is the full strategy. So yeah, just drop a one in the chat. If you guys can see my screen, I am going to refresh this because I feel like it's a little blurry. And yeah, you guys are just going to be able to listen in to two people running their subscription brands. I mean, we are by no means big sharks in the game, but we are doing something that you guys can kind of pick off of. And so, yeah, you think we good to get going, Tommy, or what's up, bro? Should we wait a couple minutes, or are we good?
I think we're good. I think we're good. And yes, Kaz, there is a black square on purpose, but just kind of just going back to like the MRR guys, uh this is kind of like a newer thing that people have taken advantage of. It's more of a trend. Back in the day there was like fashion, everyone was kind of on the fashion phase, but I think everyone in here, you guys got to brace yourselves because this is moving fast, but it is the latest new trend, and I would most certainly hop on it if you guys can, because supplements are everywhere. They're going to be here for a while, so just, buckle up and, just enjoy what you guys see in here.
Yeah. So, like we mentioned before, for those who are just now joining in, this is the kind of like the first series in the supplement play that we want to roll out to you guys, where it's applicable to all pathways regardless of what you're in. Now obviously for us, we run a Shopify brand, so we're going to be talking things that we have to deal with on our website, our ads. If you're an affiliate, I mean, it's the same thing. You still got to go and make good ads for other brands, but you'll be kind of exposed to what it's like on the brand side of things once you make that pivot, right? So hopefully that makes sense for you guys. But yeah, so this is one of our brands in the portfolio. To date, it's done just shy of $500,000 in about 4 to 5 months. Right now, we're currently averaging anywhere from 150 to $220,000 a month in total sales revenue. Um, and with that, we're going to be covering these three things, right? So MRR, so building monthly recurring revenue, scaling strategies, and then we're going to give you guys some action items as well, right? And so, we're always big on just leading with value, leading with proof. Here's our last three screenshots of sales here right before y'all's eyes. No gatekeeping, not hiding anything. You see yesterday's sales, you see the 16th, you see the 15th. Again, not hiding anything. So we're doing exactly what we're about to show you guys here right now. Anything you want to add on top of that time before I move on, keep on going to the first part?
I mean, no, that's basically it though. So yeah, just everything
All
looks
right.
great. It's crazy. It moves fast though, you know? It moved
Yeah, it
really fast for
does.
us. So
Yeah,
yeah.
it definitely does. All right, cool, cool, cool. Well, let's go ahead and jump into the first part that we want to talk to you guys about, which is MRR, right? So monthly recurring revenue. So to start off, what we want to talk about is the offer. Now, I want to ask you a question, Tommy, because you've been in the e-commerce space just as long as I have been.
Hmm.
How big is your offer in e-commerce as a whole, regardless if you're drop shipping, POD, or an affiliate? I think to a certain degree, you have an offer in all three pathways. So how important is an offer?
I mean, it offers, probably one of the top three things that you need. So, number one being traffic, content, but yeah, offer really has to align with your content too. So, like, you can have really good traffic, but if you don't have enough conversions, you don't have a good offer, uh, the content's kind of useless too. So you have to have both pieces in check to, have a really good brand to do some numbers like that. So, mhm.
100%, 100%. So yeah, we want to show you guys one of the first offers that is being ran by a really big brand. They're called Everyday Dose. You can check them out. They sell mushroom coffee. They're in Target now, so they've gone past eight figures, probably heading on to nine figures at this point, right? But when it comes down to your subscription offers as a whole, okay, Tommy already mentioned how important your offer is, but one of the first things that you want to track in your subscription based business is your subscription take rate, right? So, what is a subscription take rate? That is simply just the percentage of people who opt into your subscription, right? Now, this offer here that I'm showing you guys, they are forcing a subscription up front. I don't know if you guys can see that, but they don't really have that option to like subscribe and save or buy one time, right? So obviously for an offer like this, um, they're going to probably have 100% subscription take rate at the end of the day, right? But you'll notice that the biggest thing that they're doing is they're selling this thing for mad low, $25, right? Because their strategy that you guys can probably see is that they're getting them in on a lower upfront cost on the front end initially, right? So they're only paying $25 for the first purchase, but every month after that is a standard flat rate of $36 in subscriptions, right? So you can kind of see how they're bundling that, but also take note that the reason why, and it's just like psychology, really, at the end of the day, like they're charging this amount, but look at everything that you're getting with it. You're getting a frother, you're getting a spoon to measure out your dosage. I think they even offer like other free gifts as well that you guys might be able to see here. But you guys can see that with that, I'm gonna show you guys another. We're gonna show you guys another offer here in a second. But you want to track your subscription take rate because at the end of the day, if you're not getting, I think an ideal range that you want to strive towards is just like a 70 to like an 80% subscription take rate, right? So that means if 100 people come to my site, right, are 70 to 80% of them converting into subscriptions, right? If not, then you probably have an issue with your offer because at the end of the day, you're running a subscription business to get subscriptions, not just to make a sale, which the one time sales are going to happen regardless, unless you're running a forced subscription offer like this. But we're about to show you guys another one where you can choose to subscribe or not. But I think subscription take rate is a really big key metric to monitor and track. So let me know if you got anything to add on top of that as well, Tommy.
Well, yeah. I mean, Calvin, one thing I really did appreciate that you did is you actually went ahead and bought this, didn't you, yourself?
I did, I did, I did, I
What'd you
did.
think of
I
it? What'd you think of it? Mm-hmm.
so yeah, so I did buy this offer and I would highly recommend if you guys are able to just go to, if you're doing research already, find one of these big supplement brands and just buy from them so that you can experience their customer experience as well. Because from it, we're able to study their entire funnel in terms of what emails do they send out right when you make their purchase. Um, And that's a really big game changing thing because I think in the game of subscriptions, the biggest part that a lot of people forget about is just like communicating with the customers after the sale. You know what I mean? So like
Hmm.
I was able to see how they were communicating to me. They weren't like overly pressing with like, "Hey, you just subscribed, like welcome in." It was more family vibes and also here's what to expect over this timeline here. So I did purchase it. I personally love the product. My fiance loves it. I think we're probably on month 4 of our dose and we started the subscription in December. So we went back and what basically let me just tell you guys, I purchased a $25 order. They now have made $200 plus for me in 2 to
Wow.
3 months, right? So that's kind of the power of this. But yeah, it's really good. Yep.
And like I can see like all the free gifts that they include. You can't see it in the screenshot, but like they probably already built that in to have that margin from even just paying $25. So they have really good margins already. And adding $36 for each refill every 30 days, just icing on the cake too. So they also just send you just the coffee, right? Not the free gifts again. They just
Yeah.
only send the gifts one time. Okay,
Yep,
just the
exactly, exactly. Like exactly
hmm
what you guys see here. They sent it in this exact box. It came with the free gifts. It came with a paper pamphlet of like how to use it, different recipes that I could use with the coffee. I can just mix it with my regular coffee, or I can make a espresso martini with this mushroom coffee as well. So like they just try to make using the product as fun and as easy as possible is what I saw with their offer and stuff like that. So yeah. But at the end of the day, like the higher your conversion rate is on your site, the more orders you get, and the more orders you get, the more subs you get. So simply put, subscription is simply all about compounding, right? It's just like investing in the S&P 500. It's all about compounding. When you build a, I mean, you guys saw our numbers here. Hold on, let me go back to it. You guys saw our numbers here. Like, look at December. It was probably like, look at November, probably like 20,000. December, 40,000. I don't even know. But we really didn't start scaling hard until like 65-ish days ago because it's all a compounding effect, which we're going to be talking about what things did compound over time here in a second. But, the first thing is definitely the offer itself. And yeah, just to kind of circle back on this point, you want to track your subscription take rate, see how many people are actually opting into your subscriptions at the end of the day. Um, so let's move on to the second one. So this is a forced subscription offer. Why don't you go ahead and tell them about this offer right here from Grooms, bro? What are they doing right here?
All right, so they got the auto. I mean, you can select two flavors, which is kind of nice, and they have the auto ship and save. So one person, $40, or you can buy it for two people, save a few bucks right there. 28 packs every 4 weeks. Okay, okay. And they also give you the one-time purchase option. So that's a very common subscription model that a lot of brands are doing. So they default it to a subscription and it looks really good. And then they also give you the opportunity to buy it one-time purchase, which, that also still gives you a pretty good margin. But we typically want them to be on the subscription side of things so we can earn that MRR. Granted, you can cancel it at any time. But regardless, we've already fit into the margins, is what I assume from this competitor. And both ways you're making more money. But the one-time purchase, even if they go through that route, the brand is able to make more of a margin versus not having them purchase the subscription itself. So both ways you win, and you give them variety for different offers. So it's a win-win for them for the Greens company. So I really like their brand a lot too. Very, very
Yeah,
nice.
yeah, I agree. This is the other style offer that a brand like this is running. So first one was Everyday Dose. They kind of just force you into the subscription. And then the second one is Gruns, whatever, where you can kind of build your own bundle, whether it's for a 1 pack or a 2 pack, and then whether that's a subscription, a save and subscribe, or a one-time purchase. And I think what Tommy just said just now that's really important is that, everything is always based on margin. And even if a customer were to kind of go for that one-time purchase, they're making a lot more on the front end off the rip on that option overall. But obviously, their main goal is to force the subscriptions because they know one of the
Hmm.
things that we're going to talk to you guys about here in a little bit. they know that their lifetime value of a customer, LTV, meaning how much a customer is going to spend over a set period of time, is probably going to amount to, for example, if I was a subscriber for the one person, so that's $40, yeah, $40 a month or whatever for subscribing, you know, on a advertising side of things, they could probably spend more to acquire me as a customer, as a new customer, because they know that 3 to 4 months down the line, I'm going to end up spending 120, 160 with them overall without having to reacquire me as a customer through ads. Does that make sense, everybody? Like, drop a one in the chat if that makes sense. Drop a two if it doesn't, because I want to make sure that's like the key thing that you guys are understanding is that the subscriptions compound based on your LTV, your lifetime value, how much your customer is spending with you over set period of time is going to help you determine whether or not you can spend more on ads to acquire new customers that'll compound even further, right? So yeah, I really love this offer stack here. Like Tommy said, I do think this is one of the more what's the word, like standard offers that a lot of people run.
Right.
But again, they're focusing primarily on AOV. They stack the monthly recurring or a higher upfront AOV, and then I'm going to talk about their post purchase flow in a second that I have here for you guys. But yeah, let me know if I missed anything on that one, Tommy.
I mean, I guess like when looking at this, why wouldn't someone just do the auto ship and save and then just cancel it afterwards? Because like it is just readily available right there. But do you think it's just because people forget to do that, which is pretty typical, or like why not just do the, what's cheaper, what's in front of them, and then just cancel right after versus doing the one-time purchase?
Yeah, I think that is just like a factor that like running a subscription brand, you're just gonna have to roll with that because there are gonna be smart people who do that where they buy your subscription at a cheaper price and then cancel, right? And it's just something that's gonna happen, but it's like not as common as many people think at the end of the day. Like it does happen, but I don't think it's too big of like a factor just yet at the end of the day, especially if you're like giving a customer a really good experience with your product and it
Right.
actually helps them. Like, I don't think that's like too big of an issue overall, but it does happen though, for sure. Like, it's just the
Yeah.
inevitable.
Yeah, no, I think like for the brand too, even though customers can cancel it at any time, I feel like there's like a lot of people that they just forget. They really just
Yeah.
forget to do it. So I think we just take that into consideration. They might get one more delivery, so you can kind of like milk that out. But like, you're still when you get that recurring subscription, you put no ad cost behind it. So that's why this MRR is so powerful because if they just purchase it one more time, that's free money. You don't have to acquire that customer anymore. So you just make the margin between what the cost is and without any advertising fee, which is, a pretty hefty expense, long term when you're advertising. But
Yeah.
yeah,
And this is still following with Groons. This is one of their post-purchase upsell flows as well, where whenever you buy as a customer, they hit you again on the back end with bigger bundles as well, right? So they're still trying to push how much you spend more within that short time frame so that they can already collect 1, 2, 3 months worth of subscriptions up front, right? You see that they have you can buy another one pouch monthly or get three pouches quarterly for $165. You save 30%. And so, you kind of get 3 to 4 months worth of supply. They don't bill you until another 3 to 4 months, but they've already kind of collected the same amount that you would have paid them on a subscription put up front, right? So that's kind of like their strategy here with their post-purchase upsell flows overall. So um, that's what the offer. So I do just want to make sure that the offer is extremely important. You don't have to like get super like sexy or like intricate with it, right? Like you don't have to start throwing in like a lot of crazy free gifts. But you want to tread carefully with your offer as well because you know with some of these offers, you just want to make sure you're not sacrificing too much margin if you're like giving out a bunch of free bottles or free capsules or whatever up front. You want to make sure that your margins are pretty tight, that your numbers and things like that, so you don't you know lose out on money and stuff like that. So um So yeah, anything else with these two offers, bro, or anything with offers in generals or bundles?
I mean, no, these are pretty two solid offers. I definitely would recommend everyone in the chat to, go look at their website, use this for inspiration because this is like the best way to, study other brands and start to like accumulate more brands in their, watch list so you can
Yeah,
model off of them. And yeah, it's just free data right here. That's how I look at it.
right. All
Hmm.
right. So the next thing that we want to talk to you guys about within MRR is your retention percentages and LTV. Now, here's a chart that represents monthly retention here. Basically, your monthly retention is going to show you how many people from that month retain towards the second month, the third month, so on and so forth. So your retention percentages, like I mentioned before, show you or tell you how well each month of subscribers retain, right? There's a lot of different things that can affect this that I'm going to get to in a second, but your retention percentages show you how well each subscriber retains month to month, right? And then you can also pinpoint where the biggest drop offs are. Is it month two? Is it month three? Is it month four? And then from there, you can start to kind of troubleshoot why that drop off is happening around a certain month. Is it because a benefit isn't occurring at that time frame? Is it because maybe your shipping was too slow? Was it the customer service? Things like that, right? Overall, this snapshot, your retention and your LTV is going to give you a snapshot of how healthy your business is over time. Because when running a subscription, guys, you do not care about ROAS. Like, you do not care about ROAS at all, right? Because a lot of the times your main goal is just to acquire as many new customers as possible and getting them into the subscription itself. So we go back to the subscription take rate, right? You might break even on your sales. You might even be net loss 10, $20 on your first sales, right? But the more you fill up your bucket with subscribers, the bigger the compounding effect. So you guys can kind of see here, September, Tommy and I started off with 5 subscribers. Believe it or not, correct me if I'm wrong, Tommy, but we actually started doing 1K days without the subscription to begin with. And then we were like, hey, let's add the subscription offer, something like
Hmm.
that.
That's
Yeah.
exactly what happened. Yeah.
So we only have 5 subscribers in September. We jump up to 149 in October. We jump up to 119 in November. Jump up to 802 in December. 2,700 in January. February, we're already on pace to kind of double what we're at right now, right? So that's the compounding effect. So yeah, let me know if you have anything to like speak on the retention or yeah, the retention really before we go into LTV.
Yeah. I mean, just regarding this too, I know those who are just starting out, you just might need time because this definitely takes time to accumulate to see like the how your customers react month over month. But you can just even see like there's a huge drop off when we had more subscribers too, with in December. So 802 subscribers, and then month like 0 to 1 was a drop off of like 22%, and then it dropped off heavily from that. So that was a pretty big drop off. So we definitely need to look into that. But 40% for November too. Yeah, that's pretty the same. But yeah, this is just something that you just got to look over time. So understanding your LTV is
Yeah.
important for, overall for MRR. So definitely these apps usually have these built in too. Is this the one from caching subscription? The cohort, yeah. So
Yep. Yeah.
it's very easy to see and understand. So no, it looks great.
Yeah. So, I think a big thing that I want to touch on with the retention real quick is like what are the drop offs? And it's basically these things here, right? So how the product performs for the person, right? It's your customer service, it's your shipping times, even your offer that you create can affect retention at the end of the day. So a lot of different levers can affect your retention rate, but the biggest ones is just making sure that, if they're on a subscription, you want to make sure that their first order gets to them in a pretty reasonable time. Because if I get my order within 15 days, right, and then I only have 15 more days to try my supplement before getting billed, they're going to drop off, right? So you'll want to make sure that, that's a whole different conversation with logistics and fulfillment. But those are the things that can cause a drop off in retention, right? And to fix those things, it's a lot of different creative solutions that you guys can do when you run into this. But not to like kind of get too deep into it, but the biggest thing is just making sure that you have inventory to begin with. Um, whether, especially as an affiliate, you don't really need to worry about inventory that's more on the brand side. So you're just promoting them. For anybody who's kind of going down the POD supplement path, I mean, you have the warehouse right in USA with Jetpack, or another one is Supplefill that you guys can check out later. And if you're drop shipping overseas, it really just takes a simple conversation with your supplier to get them to front you inventory up front, right? I think Tommy's the king at getting our supplier to accept our terms and agreements. Uh,
It's an ongoing relationship, but you just got to make sure you get what you want, what you need to make the business grow. It's all about the business at the end of the
yeah,
day.
Yeah. And so, yeah, it's a lot of different things that you can do to obviously improve your retention. But really, if you guys just, the main focus for you guys starting out outside of research, but just mainly talking about the MRR in particular, is just fill up the bucket. Like that should be your number one goal, is just fill up your bucket of new subscribers, right? Focus on how long they stay with you after you've built up a pretty reasonable amount of subscribers, right? Because you shouldn't be worrying about what's my monthly cohort of month 2, month 3, what's my retention if you don't even have that type of data available to you, right? So focus on your net new subscribers. That's always going to be the number one driver of your business at the end of the day, right?
Hmm.
So, all right, yeah, let's talk about LTV. So you want to talk to them about how important LTV is, or what LTV does for subscriptions, bro?
I mean, yeah, so LTV, just long-term value, or just like how long a customer retains its values over 3 months. For example, right here, our LTV right here says $142 over 3 months. So not just, from the initial offer of like $25 that you had saw uh for the everyday dose, but they obtained $142 over the last 3 months. So a completely different revenue stream versus just the upfront offer that they normally sell. But you typically just want to understand and make sure your subscribers are happy, they're satisfied, and getting that feedback from them to, make sure, you retain the other customers as well. So you increase that LTV, that revenue as much as you can, which is a pretty good sign that your business is, you have pretty good customer satisfaction when it comes to people purchasing from your brand. But besides that, LTV pretty self-explanatory when it comes to, just making sure your customers are happy. We're not trying to, uh, cut any corners or anything, but we want to just sell something that provides value for them at the end of the day. If they're happy, they're gonna be, subscribed to the product that you're selling. So at the end of the day,
Yeah,
just be, ethical when it comes to what you're selling. See.
100%. 100%. I definitely think with LT, so when you guys are jumping into this subscription play, the biggest thing that it's going to allow you to do is once you build up enough data, it's going to allow you to know how much you can actually spend, whether you are in the safe zone or you are wanting to push more aggressively and so get more customers. And to get more customers, you would spend more on ads. So your LTV has a really big effect on that, because if you know that every 3 months for each customer, they're spending at least 143 bucks with you. You know that on the front end, you can probably accept a 40 or $50 cost per acquisition on Meta, right? Because you're banking on profitability from 30 to 60, 60 to 90 days, compared to a lot of the products that you guys might have sold beforehand. We kind of need to be profitable first time, because the products that we've sold beforehand don't really have a factor that bring a customer back, right? So that's why, if you ran ads before, we've always preached 2 ROAS, 2.2 ROAS, scale if you see that,
Mhm.
right? But in a case like this, you don't really care about ROAS. You want to focus more on your cost per acquisition, and then how many, net new subscribers you're getting into your bucket. Um, and a lot of big brands like you guys saw, like Everyday Dose, Rise, Mushroom Coffee, Bruins, AG1, Catacore, I think Kardashian launched a new brand herself called Le Purr or something like that, right? Like these big brands become profitable after 90 days, but like standard e-commerce brands, we still kind of need to be profitable within, that 30 to 60 days, 60 to 90. So like that second or third month is where we're looking to be profitable. And you know, with being profitable, you want to make sure that yeah, you're stacking up a lot of subscriptions, but you just want to make sure you have like the proper cash flow in place too, to make sure that you're not like overspending on ads, make sure you have enough for your cost of goods, things like that. So that's just a little quick point, unless you got anything else with this.
You got hit everything on the nail, bro. So
All right, all
so
right, all right. All right, looks like the next thing that we're talking about is retention and churn. So I'm gonna let Tommy talk about this mainly, but I see a lot of questions like, how do you handle people who might cancel? What is churn at the end of the day as well? What are we looking for with our subscription? So like, what is churn? How do you optimize retention? Things like that in your eyes, bro.
I mean, like how I look at churn is just basically, they were subscribed at one point and then they unsubscribe at a future date. So we definitely want to make sure, depending, like right here it says last 90 days. um 30% of our subscribers had dropped off, which is pretty standard too, especially with that one, like, we have that cancel anytime. So we can expect a higher churn rate depending on what your offer is. That's something to mention too, because people kind of see a large churn rate and they're like, oh, my churn rate is really bad. But, you gotta also think about the offer that we have. We don't have any strict policies of you have to be subscribed for like 3 months to be able to cancel your subscription. So I think what we have right now is kind of natural, depend like based off of how our offer is structured. But yeah, to retain it, just following up with your with customer service. I can't stress how important customer service is, especially in a MRR model, is important for every brand owner here. So I would definitely make sure the customer service is on point when it comes to like the emails. If customers have questions too, possibly just automating some of that as well if you can. So we could definitely, show some tricks that we have down the line when it comes to handling customer service. But what do you have to add for that, Calvin?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that, I want to add about retention insurance. So let me just take a step back. We talked about retention. Retention is basically just how long, the percentage of people that stay with you on a month-to-month basis, right? So if I'm a
Right.
subscriber from January, for how long am I staying subscribed, right? What's that drop off from month one to month two to month three? And I do think that a big part of your churn rate, the percentage of people who opt out of your subscription, does your offer does have a big role on this right here, the percentage of people who opt out, right? So, like, for example, if you're doing a really big offer where you're offering a lot of that supplement up front, so like a buy one get one, buy two get two, buy three get three. If customers were to buy the higher AOV bundle, like a buy two get two free, it's if it's a 30-day supply each month, that's technically 4 months of
Right.
subscriptions that they're kind of paying up front for, and they may still pay the subscription anyways. And so offers like that will just naturally cause your subscription or your churn rate to be a little higher, right? So ours is 30%. Not gonna lie, this is it's pretty typical, like Tommy said, but I do want you guys to pay attention to the main thing, which we've been saying since the jump of this call, the start of this call, is how many people are you adding into the bucket? Because you guys can see here over the last 30 or 90 days, we've increased by almost 4,000% subscribers, right? We went from 81 to almost, an extra 32, 3,300 in subscribers. So how much you can, especially when you're starting out, right? You don't have all the processes in place, you're figuring things out. You just this should not be the main goal, right? Like fill up your bucket, get the compounding effect, then fix these other areas that you can kind of fix down the line. But we know that we're not too worried about our churn rate as long as we are constantly adding in new subscribers. So that would be the last thing I would have to say, unless you have anything from that, bro.
No, you're 100% right. Like, as long as you have a good funnel, getting new subscribers, yeah, your churn rate doesn't really it matters, but obviously you want to keep that to a minimum as much as you can. But yeah,
Yeah,
getting new net subscribers is definitely the main goal for everything.
yeah.
Hmm.
Um, and then I think I have what was one more thing there. If I think about it again, I'll bring it back. But oh yeah, the thing again, just one extra last point on the subscriptions. Imagine as long, all right, let's say you got a water bucket, all right, and there's a hole, okay? Obviously, there's water leaking out, but as long as you are filling up that bucket more than the water that's leaking out, you are good, all right? You are good. That's all I want to make sure that you drive home is that focus on driving net new subscribers, right? And these are just a few incentives where if you like for us, this is probably something that Tommy and I are going to have to start implementing for our business is we're seeing pretty big drop off from our January. Damn, screen is like not letting me zoom out, but you see from January we went from 100% to 83%, right? So in months where you're experiencing really big drop offs, that's where you can introduce incentives in the big drop off months, right? So a lot of brands that you'll see once you go to study them, they do free gifts, right? Month one, you get this free gift. Month two, you get this free gift. Month three, you get this free gift, right? And so if you gamify and incentivize your customer experience and the journey, they're gonna be more people like free shit, guys. Like I think that's a given. Like we all like free stuff. Um, that's honestly why I'm still subscribed because I got a free glass base for my mushroom coffee, and I got a tumbler, and I got a journal from Everyday Dose right here, free gift, right? So like, I'm not saying go ballistic with your free gifts, but a lot of people might say like, okay, if we do free gifts that we send out to them every month, isn't that more cost? Well, yeah. What the hell is a free $5 to $7 gift that you send out to them but it means that they stay subscribed for another 1, 2, 3 months. You know what I mean? Like, what's that ROI that you're getting for sending them those free gifts if it means them being subscribed for 3 more months at a $50 AOV? That's an extra 150 in profit that you can get just by putting a little extra love into it, right? But like, that's just a free gift method. And some people, yeah, free gifts is a really big way to, incentivize people to stay subscribed as well. So,
Yeah.
um, anything you got with that, bro?
I mean, like, it doesn't even have to be something that does cost money too. So like imagine like a digital product. That could be something that's,
Yeah,
educational for the, who your customer is, but understanding their wants and needs is an important thing that makes sense for what the free gift should be. So yeah, definitely be
yeah,
thinking about like other incentives, like just a digital product would just be more than enough too
yeah.
sometimes, just to even like test it out. Hmm.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Like, it doesn't always need to be something that you physically send out. It can definitely be a digital product, especially if it's like, you know, if it's um if it's something that is in the weight space, right? You can give them a digital product or an ebook of meals that they can be eaten, right, for the month, something like that, right?
Right.
So things like that will work outside of like sending physical free gifts, right? So all things to take into consideration. But little quick point that we want to just drive home on this is that compounding is key, right? So over time, you guys saw from our results, it was slow, 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 slow. We're gonna talk about the things that we cracked in order to scale here in a second, but compounding is key in a subscription model business at the end of the day, and over time, your revenue will grow. That's why Tommy and I are able to scale our brand right now to consistent 7K plus days is because we have predictable revenue coming in for this entire month of February, right? So we're not necessarily we were never really panicking or guessing all in January. We knew February was going to be a big month, and a lot of that has to deal with our subscriptions, right? So
Hmm.
um and the biggest thing with that too, I don't know, like you might be able to talk about this too, Tommy, from like any subscriptions that you've had, but like I know for me, making sure that your messaging and communication about the customer subscription is key, right? Like you don't want to over communicate a subscription because if I keep constantly get like brought up that I'm in a subscription, I'm gonna cancel, right?
Right.
And then setting clear expectations, like I'm not trying to cure cancer by tomorrow, like tomorrow with the supplement. Like that's not a clear expectation, especially if you are in like a weight loss supplement, right? I'm not guaranteeing that you drop 30 pounds month one, right? So like set clear expectations or a timeline in terms of results, I think is big. And then like LTV, we talked about LTV. I'm gonna show you guys that in a second. But like you gotta drill staying subscribed with you with your brand into their brain, right? Like you gotta kind of force these customers in an ethical way that they should be a part of your brand. So I don't know if you had anything to like speak on with the
Hmm.
subscription, the messaging and stuff like that.
I mean, I just think like it just has to make sense and study like who you're selling it to and what the value it brings to. Uh, and yeah, you're right. Just because like you don't want to be over communicating, you don't want to even remind them that they have a subscription and then they end up like removing it too. Something that I always kind of think about how when we're sending out messages, we don't want to be basically annoying, but like guys, just kind of think of it as if you guys were the customer. Like I feel like a lot of people forget that, but would you like to be, getting a lot of text messages from a brand that you just purchased? Like getting constant reminders, updates for, unnecessary things. So just put yourself as the consumer. I always want to like, make sure that that's clear and, just treat them like, based off of what we know about the customer and just keep on digging into, their wants and needs when it comes to, understanding who we're selling it to. So,
Yep. Yep. And this is kind of a really good example that another brand called Primal Queen, you guys can look them up as well. They basically they basically took the there's a big trend. I think it's still a trend now, but like the ancestral vibes, right? Like our ancestors ate organs and liver, beef liver, right? It tends to be more masculine. I think a lot, if you guys go and research these brands, a lot of them will be masculine, but they took it and kind of sub niche down to women only, right? Because women also want to be healthy too with these primal based supplements or like liver, beef liver. My mom takes a lot of like beef liver for sure. I'd be like, dang, I didn't know you was on that. But like this is a really good example of kind of setting expectations clear for your customers, right? So for them, week one, a boost in energy and mood. Um, month one, right? Your iron levels increase, better vitality, sex drive, overall well-being. Month two, month three, month four, month 12, right? So you kind of paint a customer's end goal and let them know that here, like, I know you want to be here, but just know it's going to take this time. And so that's how they're drilling LTV in their brain. They're already drilling the
right.
fact that, oh, I need to stay on this to reach this goal of mine. I want to have clear skin, but I see that, that's not going to happen until month three, right? So this is a perfect example of like how to drill LTV, but also how to set clear expectations. And this is all on their website, primalqueen.com. You can go and look them up and study their website too. So anything you got to add with that, Tommy?
No, I mean, it does definitely helps with retention. We definitely need to add something like this and enhance ours a lot, Calvin.
Yeah,
Not gonna
for real,
lie.
for real, for real. Yeah, I was like, okay, it's a good little timeline. I've been seeing a lot of supplement brands use this timeline on like their product pages, so I definitely want to build out a section like this for ours for sure. I think it'll help for the space that we're in.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
like it can also like influence like their buying behavior too to like, okay, maybe I will buy the buy two get one free so I can just be at the 3 month tier. So
yeah,
uh
yeah,
yeah, and then buy
yeah.
another again. So it's 6 months right there, you're good. So
Yeah, here's like another example that I want to show you guys. Lone Vera, they actually sell the beef liver, right? But you kind of tell it's for men, right? But I don't want you guys to focus on the product per se, but I want you guys to focus on their offer stack as well, right? Because you'll see that they got to buy one, buy two, get one free, buy three, get two free. And to Tommy's point, if you're able to show them the timeline of results or clear expectations, it may influence them to get the buy two, get one free offer, which is a 3 month supply. And then with your subscriptions, you can get real slick with it. And instead of forcing them to get this every month, a buy two, get one free, or basically three every month, you allow them to select every month subscription, every 2 month subscription, every 3 month subscription, every 6 months. Again, it's all based on, which bundle that they get. But I do think, to Tommy's point, setting the right expectations and timeline can influence which offer, which bundle customers, do move forward with. And that, has a high likelihood of driving up your AOV or driving up your subscription take rate, right? So everything is always coming back to those main things there, right? So
hmm.
the next thing real quick that we want to touch on is, this is I saw a few questions on this earlier, but how do, do people just charge back or do they actually try to cancel? And we want to talk about like improving your cancel flow and collecting feedback, right? So like when you're building a subscription, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, time, but if you're building a subscription business, you're trying to build something real and something with impact, right? So we're not looking to do anything unethical here by like forcing people into subscriptions or whatever, making false claims, right? So with any subscriptions apps that you guys use, there's always going to be a function where they get an email a day or two prior to their subscription charging again, right? And in this email, you should ethically 100% allow them to cancel at that point in time if they want to, right? So, I think having a cancel flow helps out a lot because if they want to cancel, instead of having them cancel, maybe give them a discount to continue with that subscription or give them the option to skip that order, right? Because chances are they may have bought a big bundle from you, like a buy two get one free, so they may already have 3 months supply and it's only been month one. But rather than having them cancel, right? Just have them skip their order. That's where customer service comes into play. That's where communication comes into play to allow customers to manage their subscriptions very easily, right? So those are real things. And then like, when building a real business, a real supplement brand or a subscription brand, getting feedback from customers is huge, right? Like, how do they like the product? How do they like the packaging, the shipping? Like, take all of that and refine your business and your brand, right? And a thing that I've seen bigger brands do is whenever people go to cancel, like they actually do like a founder video where it's like a quick video that pops up of the founder. They just give them a couple of reasons on why to stay and then offer a discount. Kind of just makes it more connected with the customer in a way. But yeah, I just wanted to touch quickly on like the cancel flows and collecting feedbacks. And then, if you have anything to add on with that too, Tommy, let me know. I think you're on mute. Oh, oh, I see. Hold on. I had to. Yeah, there
All
you
right,
go.
thank you. No,
Yes,
everything
sir.
is clear. We're good. We're good. Yeah.
We're good.
Yeah, the constant feedback loop is most important, guys. Understand what the customers are selling it to or who we're selling it to, guys. It's so important to like, even see through like what the emails are saying too, see what's commonly said a lot, tally that up, and then, try to fix that on the, next come about. So listening to your customers is just 100% important, especially for this MRR subscription model too.
Yeah.
But
All right. Let's move on to, yeah, this is one of the last things here. So let's talk about the scaling side of things here, right? So with scaling, we really found that like there's really two main key levers when it comes to scaling. First one is your CRO, so conversion rate optimization, right? So all things that have to do with like your landing page, the images and the text on your landing page, your offer structure, and your funnels, right? Funnels meaning are you sending them to a listicle before your product page? Are you sending them to an advertorial? Um, at scale, I think CRO and funnels become more important. Um, you always want to focus when you're scaling. A lot of people tend to be afraid to fix or to keep testing things because they don't want to break something that is possibly working for them, right? Something that's consistent. However, you always want to be testing new offers, new pricing, because your main goals as a brand owner is always to improve your conversion rate and what we call RPV, right? So that's revenue per visitor, right? So your main goal as a brand owner is to always squeeze as much juice as you possibly can per customer, and different offers, different landing page styles can help do just that, right? So, do you have anything to add on with like the CRO or funnels or anything like that, bro?
no, I mean, just like you mentioned, just test different offers. But what was that one brand? Do you happen to remember like they were selling like a free red bikini and it was going viral on social media too, and like they were basically just saying, hey, pay for the shipping, which was probably like the cost of the goods, but they got like a bunch of people to build a pipe because they were offering something essentially free for everyone, or if they were to buy this like red bikini. But I don't know if anyone remembers that, but it took it by storm on social media. And I think that was just like a good offer where you can offer something like basically close to free just to, get them on that subscription model and then you can like build them afterwards. But making sure that they know it's a subscription, obviously, and what it all entails. But uh, yeah, yeah. I mean, just testing different offers. Don't be afraid of it, guys, because I was a little bit afraid when it comes to testing offers, but you really just Facebook is really good just for that whole reason to test uh, different offers to make sure you can, increase your AOV, but that'll be discussed later on in here.
Yep, yep, yep. All good stuff there. All good stuff there. So, let's go into, oops, let's go into kind of some other ways to scale for your supplement brand, right? Um, so we call this kind of like horizontally scaling for your brand. So there's two ways, yeah, two main ways you can continue to scale your brand. Um, the first way I'm gonna talk about this left side is through more what we call SKUs or SKUs, right? That just means different product lines, right? You'll see more bigger and advanced brands do this. They just have the bigger budget and bigger team to launch new product lines at the end of the day because each product line is essentially almost its own business, right? It requires its own creatives, it requires its own product page, it requires its own ads, it requires its own campaigns, it requires its own everything, right? So that is usually done by bigger brands when they're able to add in different product lines. And it's something that you guys can think about too when building out your subscription business is like, do I want to have other complementary products available up front? Or should I focus on my one hero product, which is gonna be it's gonna be the case for most of you guys, right? um when you guys introduce new products here new products at the end of the day, these new products should for the most part target different pain points, right? Whereas another way, this is kind of the route that like Tommy and I are going, where this is about 90% of e-commerce brands that do supplements. They mainly have like 1 to 3 hero products or main products, and then they just scale by finding more winning ad angles, uh, creating more congruent product pages per angle, right? They find listicles and advertorials. So, needless to say, we just are working on refining our funnel and finding new angles, and making sure that if our ads are talking about hair loss, right? Let's make sure that our product page talks about hair loss as well, or whatever the main benefit that you're implying in your ads. You translate that over into like your product pages and things like that. So, what do you have to kind of say on this part of things? Because I know you're huge on these angles and stuff.
Yeah, I love angles and just when it comes to like starting like a brand, identify what main angles the competitor is using and then also identify what they're not doing because like that could be a whole new segment of new customers that this brand that you're, copying off of, they're not even hitting this other angle that which is like really obvious because when you unlock like a new angle for like a product that you're selling that no one has ever done before because they just think it's like, you know, they haven't done the research. That's why I just highly consider just making sure you see all the angles that your product can do and then analyze what they're not doing so you can test that out for yourself in the future and then, it could just hit it from day one. You test that new angle.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I saw somebody ask earlier. I guess since we're already talking about creatives here, somebody asked how many creatives we launch.
I did see that too.
He's like, bro, we probably launch. I have a tracker. We probably launch about 175 ads every week at this point. We have about 2 editors. They crank out about 10 videos, 3 variations each. So that's what, 30 a pop. So 60.
Hmm.
And then uh, we have a process where we're able to make 100, 120 image ads every week as well. So we're constantly flooding Facebook with fresh and new ads to be able to maintain scale and to add in new subscribers. So hopefully that answers whoever's question there. But biggest thing here, a couple of things with the creatives, right? So when it comes to your ads, I for anybody who is running ads, this won't really apply to like the affiliates. Um, like I mean, in my opinion, bro, like testing structure really don't matter at the end of the day. Um, Tommy's a freaking wizard with the ads, but like I feel like him and I have validated every testing strategy under the sun. ABO, CBO, bid cap, cost cap. They all work. And in our opinion, like to some degree, the testing structure will be a factor, but like that's not really the main driver. Would you say it is, or like what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, you know me. I don't even care about the structure at this point. I just care about what kind of videos we're testing and different visual hooks, different angles. That's what like brings in the real traffic because I feel like if a video works well for the CBO, it could entirely work well in the ABO too. So, or in the bid cap, cost cap, whatever you want to call it. So, uh, it all comes down to what angle you're testing and, what new
Yeah.
visuals you're testing.
Yeah, I think to Tommy's point, the creatives and the landers do the lifting and unlock real scale. So like I'm gonna see if Tommy remembers this. Bro, remember when we were kind of like we were doing 1K days on the brand and then it slowly started to decline to like 200 a day, 300 a day. And then we introduced the listicle,
Oh,
right?
no. Yeah, yeah, I do remember that.
Tell him what happened when we introduced a pre-lander into the funnel, what that did for the business.
I mean, it was crazy because I was just like trying to understand why, but like we added a pre-lander, so I was thinking to myself, wouldn't that kind of add more congestion to like the journey? So like they would have to go to a website so they see our ad, they click on our ad, click learn more, shop now, and then it opens up like a pre-lander, so it's another page before they get to our product page, and it's just a bunch of like pictures and text. So they read through it all, and then they click on a shop now button to take them to our product page. So I'm just like thinking to myself, how is this going to help? But ideally, I think what really helped with that was more education for the customer journey. It's all about the customer journey. So that pre-lander really helped them understand what our product did, why they need it, and it just added more interest to, what they're wanting to pursue and get. So we were just painting the dream on that pre-lander before they got to our product page for them to purchase. So um,
Yeah.
yeah, it went explosive actually after that.
It was like a whole new unlock for Tommy and I. And we didn't really change the ads. We just changed the funnel and allowed the ads to keep pushing traffic. And we were just able to simply convert better. So just for context, a lot of people's funnels, and this is totally fine because this is the funnel that you should start out with to test. A lot of people are like this. First box is A, that's the ads. They send them to the PDP, right? So that's your product page, your typical product page that you make. You send customers directly to here, right? And so you're banking on the fact that the ad is so impactful, so attention grabbing that they're just going to whip out their card and purchase here. True. Seen it a lot of times with a lot of products. However, when you start to get into the supplement space, things begin to get intricate because how many freaking brands do you think are running in the same space as you, right? Trying to do the same exact thing, right? So, how can you position yourself either in a superior way or as like a new solution to their failed solutions, right? So, our funnel right now is this. So, we have ads, we send them to a pre-lander. So I'm call that PL. Pre-lander, it's basically just like an article looking page where it's like 7 reasons why men over 50 decline with their NAD due to blah, 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 right? And so we educate them, we get them into the buying state, right? That way, when they land here, which is the third step, that is our product page, right? They are now more primed up. We've psychologically controlled their buying state by adding in this pre-lander here to warm them up to be able to purchase here. Because if they get to here already after getting through this page here, they're obviously interested. Now we just need to make sure that our offer can convert, right? So that's our current funnel right now. That's what's working for us. Um, and so yeah, like we said, the creatives and the landers do all the lifting and unlock. I mean, I can't believe we're still running. I mean, we've made minor changes to our current pre-lander, but we definitely need to test more for sure. We definitely got to test more for sure.
I'm also kind of wondering, like, I think it was a blessing in disguise to not go to the pre-lander first because then we would have been like, is the pre-lander off or the product page off? So like I kind of like going straight to like the product page until we validated, okay, our product page is working. and then introducing that pre-lander, which actually like helped
Yeah,
out a lot more. So I
100%.
know everyone's probably thinking, oh, I need a pre-lander, pre-lander. You can just, take them straight to your product page first, and then that can be another added step later on in the process to convert more. But just yeah, test your product page first and then
Yeah.
introduce that pre-lander for sure. Hmm.
100%. I genuinely think everything that's happened to us with our brand at this moment has all been for a reason. I feel like we didn't scale fast for a reason. I think it happened gradually over time so that we didn't A, F up our payment processors, and then B, we were able to validate, working offers before, having other issues with our traffic. So, um,
Hmm.
yeah, with that as well, guys, like, when it comes to scaling, again, we're talking about scaling now. This is just things to expect with it. Like you want to build your team based on the scale and your volume. So, Tommy and I know right now that if we want to continually do, 200K in revenue a month minimum and adding in a bunch of new subscribers every month, we need the team to support that, right? So right now our team structure is very simple. It's Tommy and I, one VA, our fulfillment team, which is overseas, and then three editors right now. One of them is part time, one might be full time, and another one is kind of part time, right? But that's to match our volume. Obviously, not all you guys are starting out at that range, but I will say if you do not have the time to make ads, you should probably look into investing in an editor on onlinejobs.ph. Like, I don't know how, like, that's just, you just need your time back. You need to be able to strategize the ads that you want created for your product. But I mean, if you can't do that, obviously you're gonna have to get in the trenches. You're gonna have to be the one that makes the ads, things like that. But editors really can unlock a whole different output for you guys, right? That's how we're able to put out 160, 170 plus ads a week at the end of the day. So, yeah, let me know if you got anything else with that as well, Tommy. Are we good?
No, no, just keep on scaling, know your numbers for sure, guys.
Yeah.
But yeah. I mean, I guess like one
All
more
right.
thing too. I guess like just so I can hit on the nail. I know some people who have probably seen me from, our other
Mhm.
classes too, but like guys, just focus on creatives because that's what brings traffic into your website. And that's why video editors was one of the first hires that we did because we knew how much time it took. And I know that's what drives like our business. And, I wanted to find like a video editor that I could train. And I did invest some time into, making sure they learn the ropes and, understand how we work too. So, there's so much when it comes to like hiring a creator or a video editor, it just helps lift so much more weight off your shoulders. But also, that's not just, if you hire a video editor, it's not everything's going to be just, smooth sailing. You have to train them, make sure they understand. And you also have to know what is a good creative too. What is a good ad? Because if you don't know, then your video editor won't know. So that's why it's also a good thing to start it from the ground up yourself and then, hire someone else that you can, train and, also just bounce new ideas from. So,
Yep.
yeah.
100%. And, starting out, especially with Andromeda, you definitely want to focus on quality with quantity at the same time. I think we've seen a little shift in terms of just focusing on quality. Like, for example, if you think putting out only three new ads a week is going to do the job, you are definitely going to get outcompeted by other people who are testing a ton more ads than you. So definitely focus on quality with that quantity aspect into play as well. You'll find more winners. And when you're testing that many ads, especially if you're doing it yourself or you have an editor, you want to track something that's called hit rate, right? So your ad hit rate is just the percentage of ads from the ones that you tested that actually become winners. Now, winners can be defined by whatever definition you put them at, but for us, a winner is if an ad can spend a certain amount while maintaining a specific cost per purchase that we desire, that is a winner, right? So, like for example, we have an ad right now. It was able to spend around 69 to 70K, but it stayed around a $35 to $37 cost per purchase. That's a winner. right? It allows us to scale more and get new customers in. We didn't care about ROAS, we just cared about how much our acquisition was, right? And so even for yourself, if you're making your own ads, you should track your own hit rate to see, are the ads I'm putting out even good? If not, why? I need to kind of dig in. Maybe it's my research, maybe it's how I'm putting together ads, things like that, right? So um yeah, I think that's pretty good on the creatives, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
All
definitely.
right.
Hmm.
All right, all right. Next thing, this isn't too huge, but this is something that Tommy and I have slowly started to start doing, which is the omni-channel or the halo effect is what people call it in the e-commerce space. So Facebook is going to be king. Like that should be your number one driver of all traffic. And then once you get Facebook rolling, that's where you can start to get into other platforms like Google. Like Tommy and I just got Google going. And then you can get into native ad platforms, AppLovin, Taboola. You can start placing yourself on marketplaces like TikTok Shop, which we're also in the midst of doing right now, or Amazon. So I don't know if you have anything else to add on the omni channel, but really for me, omni channel is just going to help you spend more efficiently and have a better performance, kind of collectively with all your marketing channels and not having to rely solely on one marketing channel.
Yeah, yeah. I guess one thing just to note is Facebook, as in Facebook and Instagram, kind of forget, Facebook owns Instagram, so Facebook and Instagram, they go kind of crazy together. But yeah, like the Google is our next one because I've even seen it from our customer journey where they go on Facebook, they see our video, and then they Google search us. Like they're like, oh, is this company legit? Then they get hit with our, Google search keywords and we're at the very top, so they know we're legit or someone else isn't trying to take our traffic too. So just building that Facebook to Instagram, dominating it. I truly believe you can honestly just go only Facebook too or in Instagram and
Yeah, for
make
real.
millions of dollars too. So it's very not needed for the other brands or the other omni channels, but Facebook and
Yeah,
Instagram is key as always.
that's a fact. That's a fact. And then the last thing, this one's like, I don't think this one's like too big, but I think we do want to bring this up to you guys, which is having backups. So when you're getting into the supplement space, it doesn't really matter if you're drop shipping, you're in POD, maybe even for people in content as currency, this may apply to you in a different way, but you want to make sure you have backup ad accounts and backup suppliers as well when you're scaling, because a lot of ads are flying on Facebook's radar, meaning you can get away with like showing certain things on your ads, um, before and afters as well. However, Facebook can reject your ads, and so you want to make sure that you have backups for this, so that if one ad account goes down, and that was kind of like the one that you were primarily spending and driving traffic through, you should have another backup ad account already warmed up running ads. I think Coach Tommy and I, we have three ad accounts that we run on. So one of them is strictly for testing, another one is strictly for scaling, and then we just got a hidden, we call it an agency account. This agency account allows us to basically like test more aggressive ads, if you guys are picking up what I'm putting down. So that one gives us a little bit more protection without hurting our other ad accounts. We're able to, like I said, run a bit more aggressive ads. And then the backup suppliers, I mean, you should never, I just think that in the game of e-commerce, you should never just fully rely on one person to do a bulk of your fulfillment. At the end of the day, you always want to have other options, allow them to kind of price compete. I think that's actually how Tommy and I were able to reduce our COGS last week. Uh, our ads were going so viral. We reached we One of our ads hit a Chinese supplier. He messaged our customer support inbox and was like, "Hey, I'm a supplier. I know you guys are selling this. Let me give you guys a quote." And he sent me the quote on WhatsApp. I sent that to Tommy and our supplier, and that just led to a whole 23% decrease in our COGS, which was like major. I think that saved us almost like $20,000 in like pure
Exactly.
profit. Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's just a little something, but I don't know if you got anything else with that as well, bro.
No, I mean, you hit on the nail. I was kind of mad. I was like, wow, we can get it for that much cheaper too. Talked to my
Yeah, yeah,
supplier
yeah.
and told him what's up. And yeah, we were able to successfully and, meet on both terms and make us 20K like that, just like that too. So getting,
Without more ads. without more ads,
Exactly.
without
Yeah.
spending more, without changing an offer, simply just optimizing the entire business flow. And again, this really only becomes a main factor when you're scaling, but like you guys just being aware that these are things to expect when you scale and grow your business. Like you want to keep these things in the back of your head because yeah, Tommy and I we was pissed off, but we did the thing and we got what we needed, so we're good now. We're good now. So all right, I think that's it for that. We have our next steps here so that we can kind of continue this series. Do you want me to share it or drop it into
I can
the
drop it in right
channel?
now.
All right.
I'll drop this in. Oh wow.
All right. And then kind of we did kind of run over, but I do want to just take the next like 3 to 5 minutes to just answer some of these questions left in the chat. So somebody said, what are the other two suppliers that Mr. E mentioned? So you got Jetpack. That's for anybody who wants to kind of like create the labeling and the packaging from scratch. Another alternative to Jetpack is Supplefill. I would check them out. If you guys have used Shine On, just think that Supplefill is kind of like the supplement of Shine On, right? You make your design, you list the product. Um, for drop shipping, I highly recommend Hyperskew. That's Hyper, right? I think I have a link for that somewhere. Hold on. Hyperskew. Let me go grab that for you guys. We just partnered up with them for our fellow dropshippers. They can source products overseas for you, your supplements, things like that. I'm just gonna go grab that affiliate link. Hyperskew is just like DSers, but we just have a better relationship with them where you'll have real human support. So that's kind of what I'm dropping down below now. Um, but Tommy, closing words on the oh yeah, closing words on the document after I answer these last three questions here. Somebody said, what would you say the minimum amount of ads would be, Tommy, if they were running paid ads?
Minimum number of ads. I mean, you can go with like a good it compounds over week to week too. So as long as you're being consistent, so starting with like 5 to 10 a week can work, but you can just, it really just depends on the quality too. So uh when it comes to it, the more the merrier is what I would say. 10 a week, probably just because you guys are probably editing it. If you guys are sourcing it from somewhere else, then I would try to do a lot more creatives than that, but I would just go for as many as you can at that point. So I would just go with a cool 5 to 10 per week just to even start it off. Because like if you don't have a system down, guys like just putting something down, advertising it is better than zero. So that's just kind of where I'm trying to get to is like whatever you can do, but like at minimum 5 to 10 a week would be just, a good number to start out with.
Yeah. Another person, I think this is a really good question. I'm curious to hear your thoughts. So, obviously we were talking heavily about like, Shopify running ads. Somebody in the CIC pad, they're focusing on like creating a community, right? So like
Right.
what's the advice for them since they're not necessarily like, you know, driving traffic directly to a shop or a Shopify right now? Like,
Mm-hmm.
do you have any advice on them if they're focused on like creating a community, building up their brand, things like that?
Yeah, I'd be creating like a list of like people who are killing it with the affiliate game right now. Like whichever videos or whatever supplement they're selling, study it, like it, so it's saved into like your liked foot or liked videos on TikTok. But like analyze your competitors, guys. Like, there's so much you can learn from how the competitors are doing it. And I would watch their script of what they say second by second and kind of like reframe or do it in my own words. So I think for the affiliate game, it really just comes down to studying other people who are doing it well in the space and then, analyzing their script and then just doing it in your own words or doing like a similar script. It's kind of how I think of it. But what would you do?
Yeah, honestly, I would do the same thing. If you're an affiliate, I definitely think studying creatives is huge. And then just kind of what we like to do is we take a lot of the winning scripts that we find on TikTok and then we just replace the first half with our own copy and then leave the second half. And then we just
Yeah.
test that right out the gate. So that's a quick little nugget for you to test as well. Um, and then I think one or two more for you, bro. Somebody, I think you're the king of editors. They're asking for
Oh,
prerequisites on onlinejobs.ph. Like, what are quick ones?
I mean, I think one thing that I really like that I've done with my past video editors is do like an assessment test. So when you go on online jobs, you basically make a job post, and I would, include all the assets for this job post. So like, a video or a folder of like winning videos, and maybe like a folder if you want them to even make a video for you so they can submit that video before even, you know, picking out which video editor you want to do. Because at the end of the day, we are looking for a video editor. We're going based off of what their resume is. We don't want a video editor that can do cool, sexy effects. We just want someone that has like that understands direct response marketing. So understanding like it's more about the research versus like how the cool effects that a video editor can do. So one tip would just be assessing them, making a test. So you receive that video and you get basically like a bunch of free content from doing that, and you can test it on Facebook, and then you can, vet out which video editor you want to pick from there on. So that would be one tip that I would suggest is just vetting out which video editor that applies.
Yeah. All right. And then I'm gonna do these last two questions, and then if you want to tell them what to do with that document, I think we can kind
Yeah,
of
yeah,
wrap
yeah.
up there. So I think this is from Evelyn. Do you ask your vendor for things like ingredient list, batch results, COA per batch, et cetera, et cetera? Yeah, but like we're doing that because we're scaling, and also we need some of those things to get on certain marketplaces like TikTok Shop and Amazon. So, and also we're setting up new payment processors because a lot of us are using Shopify payments, but we want to have secondary payment processors to transact sales as a backup. So it required a lot of these documents, but I really don't think for you, Evelyn, you'll need to like focus on this. You should just focus on growing your subscriptions. And then the last one here, Kate says, how do you handle refunds when people realize they forgot to cancel their subscription? Pretty easy. I don't try to scam them out their money. I mean, if they bought the first time, we delivered obviously, and then a subscription rolls around. As long as they cancel or send me a notification, send our team that they want to cancel within 24 hours, we'll cancel and refund them. No problem. It's not that big of a deal for us at the end of the day. It's just when orders are already shipped, we can't really refund them because I'm not trying to lose out on the money that I put out for that order. So for us, again, it's dependent on how you want to operate your business. We do initiate a 40% restocking fee, especially if you're going to sell supplements overseas. Like for us, probably 90% of our customers are in Australia and New Zealand, as a matter of fact. So for us, overseas orders can get a pretty penny if they return or whatever. So we charge a restocking fee so that we don't lose out on too much money. But yeah, when it comes to like refunds and cancels, it's pretty simple. We'll just do it for them right off the rip. So yeah, hopefully that answers your question.
Cool, cool, cool. Was that your last question, Calvin?
Yeah, that was the last
Yeah.
one, bro. That was the last one.
All right. Yeah, I just want to go over that spreadsheet that we dropped in. So just gonna share real quick just to go over it. Um, Basically, just wanted to make this document to help you guys figure out what your niche is going to be. So anyone from any concentration can do this, to be honest. I like this method a lot because it makes researching a little bit more fun. So, number one, just prime your feed. So train the algorithm. Go on TikTok, go on Facebook, and then engage with like ads that you see so they naturally show up because that's how the algorithm works, guys. So when you engage with ads, you they naturally just show up. Or if you go visit their website, isn't it kind of like you guys ever notice like when you go visit a website, you see the ad the very next second? So, you know, understand the algorithm, but also train it so it shows you what you want to see. So that can be a specific niche of your sort for, the supplement that you're looking to get into. Find your niche and the big ocean effect. So don't try to reinvent the wheel, guys. I want to stress that, or I can't explain how many times I've said that because everyone wants to make something like brand new. You guys don't have to do that, guys. Like Uber and Lyft. Lyft had copied Uber and all like Microsoft and Apple. You guys know how they became big brands. They copied each other. So everything's already basically like a copy from each other. So just make sure that you figure out what that niche is and make sure it has a a large audience of people that you can sell to. So don't try to, make your TAM, which is basically your total addressable market. You want to make sure you have a large enough TAM so you can sell to all demographics within, that niche. And then four, always do competitor and audit research. So after you do figure out what supplement, what brand you want to like learn off of or become, go use Facebook ad library. Also, just look at the calorie data if you guys have that as well. But you want to extract everything from the competitor, guys. You want to go and stalk your competitor, and you want to be on top of them. You want to make sure that you know everything about it and other competitors too, because there's new emerging competitors coming out every day. So just make sure that you guys can do that. And one cool thing too, when you do prime up your feed, when the competitor ad shows up, you can typically see like their engagement on their video. So you can also open their comment section, see how many comments are being added a lot. And if there's a lot of recent engagement, that's a pretty good sign that they're adding a lot of dollar spend to the ads. So you want to make sure like you are looking for good competitors and not just copying off of a competitor that has little to no traffic. So just make sure you guys can prime up your feed, and sometimes their ad will show up depending on how you've trained your algorithm on your feed. But after that, there is a checklist below, and this is just basically just some things I want you guys to consider when you guys find out what product you guys are going to be doing. So just answer all of these and make sure you guys know this. I would definitely do this for any product that you plan on selling. And below that, I did put some links right here so you guys can reference the brands that we were referencing to, and just to kind of see what a good brand looks like. So hopefully this kind of helps with everyone when it comes to getting their feet wet when it comes to just starting the supplement brand, guys. So
Yep.
yeah.
Let's get it. Let's go ahead and move forward. We'll see you guys in the supplement channel here. Go forward. We got the first steps here. And then if you guys have questions, just let us know. But those are the behind the scenes of what's currently working for us. And that might not be the best way, but it's just a working way. You guys can improve it, take what you like from it, and then move from there. So we'll see you guys soon. Appreciate you guys.